fresh goose. She likes the dog 'cause she's a goose. And she's a goose. She has a goose 'cause she's a goose. Goose, it's the fresh goose. She likes to turn around 'cause she's a goosey goose. It's the fresh goose, the fresh goose. Fresh Goose podcast. Testing. Hello, Fresh Goose Arts podcast number 26. This is with Austin-based actor, painter Arthur Simone, ArthurSimone. Check him out on the internet. He's got lots of cool stuff. He's been in a lot of films. It's pretty awesome. He's also helped co-found Cold Town Theater, which is a really cool venue in Austin. Check it out. And thank you all for listening to the podcast. I want to thank Arthur, who is going to talk to me, and I want to apologize for not being prepared. And I think there's something he wanted to do with a painting, but I do not have the technological capabilities to do that. Unfortunately, I'm just limited to audio podcasting. But hopefully if I get my shit together and get some money, I can do some better stuff. Anyway, thanks for listening, y'all. Talk to you later. Bye.
How can I be so thirsty today when I had so much to drink last night? I was looking for you over at Red Dog.
The AC is gonna make noise, but it'll be okay.
Okay.
You might have to talk loud, but you know how to. Yeah, you know how to do that. So this is exciting. This is the most exciting podcast I've ever done in my life.
Why do you say that?
Because you dropped your phone.
Yeah.
You came over ready to paint. You're gonna paint in the. We're in a small fucking shed.
Yeah.
That's not really made for anything but rape and murder and painting.
Or computers.
I think my wife knows you're getting married.
I'm getting married.
You are?
Are we on?
Yes.
Oh, I'll project now.
Action! Man, you brought beer. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're my Lord and Savior.
All right.
Arthur Simone.
To paint.
To painting, podcasting, which I suck at, but people listen. I'm getting
So
sponsors.
how do we start this? I guess we have started.
We have started. So how does my wife know, and you're getting married?
I'm getting married in October to a lovely librarian.
Why are you getting married? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm married to a librarian too.
There's this great. I met Meg in Minnesota, and they have a great museum there. I'm gonna pull up.
On your computer?
Yeah, I thought I was gonna turn this off and not be obnoxious, but I have to show you this guy. Let me look him up. But he's an artist in Minnesota that works with. He worked with a lot of found wood.
Uh-huh.
I'll just show you.
Yeah, fuck it. What's his name?
It's a podcast. I'm finding his name.
You don't know his name? Man, that state is awesome for the arts, isn't it?
The museum there is pretty terrific.
They give a lot of money to artists. A lot of places to show art, and it's way better than Texas. I'm just gonna let this sit there. Listeners will talk in a second, I promise. But this is number 26.
George Morrison.
George Morrison?
He was an abstract expressionist painter and sculptor.
Sculptor?
Yeah,
Cool. Is he from Minnesota?
presumably.
Is he dead?
Yes.
Okay.
Did a lot of things. Did a lot of painting, but what's featured in the museum up there is a sculpture that he did, which is a.
Oh, you're good with that phone. Is that an iPhone?
Am I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got a technique.
This is one of them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
MNartist.org, Minnesota artist. Oh, that's nice. Badass.
The other one is even crazier, more fun than that. But it's this wonderful, unbalanced and yet balanced feel of line and the weight and the color of all these little individual pieces of wood.
Cool.
What do you think?
It's awesome. I don't know where to start with you because you're a complicated, complex person living in many parts of
I
art.
do. I live in a lot of spheres. I've been very gosh, this is off to a terrible start because I don't know where to start.
Well, where were you fucking born?
I was born in Shreveport.
Oh, Louisiana?
Yeah, Louisiana.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest state in the country.
Shreveport, Louisiana has issues.
But awesome. Well, they all do, but yeah.
It's on an uptick because of casinos there, but it was during like the East Texas oil rush. Its position was there, right there on the river. I mean, it was a big economic hub for quite some time.
Yeah.
But then it, like a lot of modern American cities, fell into disinterest.
Well, the oil bust would have been the 80s, late 80s, right? You were probably affected by that at some point.
Yes.
And you're 40 or something? 41?
I'm 37.
37. Awesome. Lucky you. I'm going to be 40 May 15th.
May 15th.
It's May 6th.
You better achieve greatness before then.
Kill yourself.
Well, otherwise it's too late.
So, where's wait. So I don't know where.
Louisiana is in the northwest corner of Louisiana.
Of the country.
I'm sorry, Shreveport.
That was good.
What did I say? Shreveport.
I thought you were going to make a country joke. Louisiana is in the northwest corner. It's one of the first states in the union. So Shreveport is fucking weird. Were you doing art when you were?
Well, my mother is a calligrapher.
Ah.
And her mother lived in Shreveport and helped found the Shreveport Symphony.
Whoa.
The Marjorie Lyons Playhouse.
Okay.
And so there, while I was growing up, I was the youngest of three, and I was the youngest, so I would tag along with my mother when she had her art studio open, doing custom calligraphy with her best friend who works in watercolor, and that's my godmother, Mary Sorrows Hughes.
Okay.
MarySorrowsHughes.com.
Cool.
And she has this wonderful painting, which is like a pipe, like a gas line, a bunch of nondescript pipes all thrown together, but she uses her watercolors like it's a flower. So she'll give a very interesting angle on an otherwise very industrial thing.
Very relevant to the region.
That's right.
Disgusting.
So I grew up, I kind of grew up around an art studio.
And theater.
My mom would, and theater. My sisters were always recruited to turn the pages in the symphony pit. And so my oldest sister is a lawyer, and the other sister is a doctor.
Are they in New Orleans?
No, one of them is in North Carolina, and one of them is in New Zealand.
Shit. That's cool. I missed that.
Yeah.
Louisiana has its own weird, like, kind of French laws, right? They've got their own...
Napoleonic Code.
Napoleonic Code? Which is insane. So you missed the music. There's no music bug.
You know,
which is awesome.
I did play trumpet.
Yeah.
In grade school, I played trumpet for like 8 years, and then I went to And we were living, let's see, we lived for a while in Arkansas, we lived for a while in Hammond, Louisiana, which is closer to the southeast corner of Louisiana.
Right. Which is
I eventually went to college in Oberlin, in
Where's that?
Ohio.
Ah.
It's a small liberal arts college, kind of in the middle of nowhere, and it has a conservatory.
Okay.
And so I brought my trumpet with me,
Mhm.
but then I just started getting into the art classes, and I started getting into the theater classes, and got into everything but trumpet. So it was just kind of a... I was also an avid swimmer up until I graduated, but then I got to college and I did it for one season, and I just lost interest in it, or my priorities became different.
Yeah.
So swimming and trumpeting
Painting?
have fallen off. Painting.
At Oberlin?
I was in, unless you were a declared studio art major,
Right.
you did not have priority to get into art classes, and so I didn't get into my first studio art class until sophomore year, and I hated my teacher, and then I was in another class and I hated my teacher.
Yeah.
I understand that I'm the common denominator here, but
Yeah,
there was
yeah.
just something about the theater program that I really clicked with. Maybe it was just that class of people, and just where my thoughts were, where my energy was.
Uh-huh.
So I took some art classes. I didn't even get enough for a minor, although I did do some advanced scene design while I was in my theater major program.
Uh-huh.
I worked as a stagehand, set construction during the regular season in hall auditorium. So I learned a lot of stagecraft and how to engineer what you want to do where.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't really do any scenic painting, but I did some painting in class. I took a sculpture class or two. After I graduated Oberlin, I went back to Hammond, and I enrolled in some studio art classes at Southeastern Louisiana University down there.
Okay.
But I already had my degree. I was just taking extra classes.
Yeah, why'd you go back to Louisiana
Well,
instead of like anywhere else where you could, New York or...
well, I had to get a jaw surgery,
Ah.
and I had to stay with my folks and
What happened
stay in
to
school.
your jaw?
Just a little growth spurt
Uh-huh.
made it so I couldn't bite down all the way.
That's hilarious too. I don't know why.
When they cut it, they cut both of my. It's called a mandibular osteotomy. So
Okay.
they just hacked into it, repositioned it, and screwed it.
Ah.
And that was in 2000.
And that fucked up your face, I guess.
Well, yeah, when I was healing, my face swelled up looked like a big triangle. It was a little crazy.
Awesome. Shit. So you got healed up and... 'cause
Mostly healed up. I've lost maybe about half the feeling in my lower lip,
Okay.
which also might prevent me from playing trumpet too much.
Oh yeah, you gotta feel your lips.
I strum a guitar every so often.
Really?
I'm not completely tone deaf,
Uh-huh.
so I've done song and dance before. I can song and dance. I've been in a musical or two.
Everyone from Louisiana has some sense of tone.
Some sense of tone, some sense of rhythm.
Even the weird Cajun white dudes.
Oh, especially the weird
They've
Cajun
got the-
white dudes.
Yeah, they've all got their own sense of tone.
Mm.
It's crazy. It's the weirdest fucking state. The weirdest produces the weirdest people, the weirdest art. Most culturally rich state, I would think, in the Union.
Mm-hmm.
Most influential. So, did you move to New Orleans after Hammond?
After Hammond, I moved to Chicago,
Oh.
and I wanted to pursue acting there and get an agent and be in plays and do the thing, live that life. And I lived for the first little while in this apartment called Artists in Residence up in Edgewater.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be a low-rent artist colony. And there was a room with a kiln and a dark room and a little painting studio in the building. It was 2 buildings. Now, I don't know how many people were actively living and working as artists.
Right.
When I was down in there were maybe 2 other people painting in there on weeknights.
Mm-hmm.
I would just get back from work and spend the evening there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took some of the oil painting skills that I'd gotten in at Southeastern, or Oberlin at Southeastern, and I just started painting on my own. I did a gallery show in like 2003 at a Echo Gallery.
Oh.
I made maybe a dozen or 2 dozen paintings in those first few years in Chicago. Just usually one at a time.
Mhm.
And because I'm working with oil paint, it has to dry.
For 60 years.
for 800,000 years, that's right. Especially if you wanted to use a lot of red, and so I wanted to use a lot of red, and so it just took forever to dry. But that's the kind of time I had to go downstairs and just work a little while and then go about my life again. When I moved back to Louisiana, I set up a studio in my friend's garage, and I started multiple canvases at the same time, which is something that I had not done, which was previously I have 6 months of working on this one image, from sketch to colored sketch to drawn to reality. It took quite a while in stages, but this way I could work on whatever I felt like working on, in whatever palette I wanted to work on, in whatever stage I wanted to work on.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of become my MO since then, even though I haven't done much painting recently, which is to have multiple paintings going on at the same time.
Yeah, it's the only way.
And sometimes you have paintings that are, they were started and they're finished at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have one of those that works and then one of them that doesn't. And the other one that doesn't, you just kind of throw it in the back, let it dry, and then use it to try something else, try something different, try some more layers on top of it.
Yeah.
That can be problematic. I have this one painting that I've had probably for 10 years now that's just painted over and painted over and painted over and painted over.
Jesus.
I don't know if I ever intend on finishing it.
Sure.
It'd be kind of fun to one day, but
you could throw it away.
I could throw
Start
it away.
over.
It's
10
very,
years?
It's very thick though. It's very thick and muddy at this point. So
that's good. Someone's gonna want that.
Yeah, maybe. So you have some paintings that only need one more set of work nights on.
Yeah, might be
So like
20 minutes.
Yeah. So as soon as I can get around to mixing up a purple, this one will be done. And then, even though that's not my focus for the day, but in the middle of all this, I will finish this one.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, painting is fucking weird and hard, and I don't know what I'm doing with myself trying to do it. But are you primarily an actor, you'd say, or?
That's where I get most of my
Income.
living
Okay.
from. I run Cold Town Theater here in Austin.
Oh.
I'm one of the 2 founding owners that are still working it, and we're still running that place. It's been open since 2006.
This so the place where you were painting, was that in New Orleans, or was it in Shreveport or Hammond, or the place where you were working on multiple paintings?
That was in my friend's garage in New Orleans.
New Orleans. Okay.
I was also working as the studio assistant to this Dutch guy named Arjen Hart.
Okay.
Aryenhart.
Dutch dude.
And he works in. He had me doing. He would get these big sheets of zinc-plated steel, and take several different angle grinders to it to make a big random pattern. Then lay on some liquid pigment, and then seal it up or like peel off the tape, and come up with some sort of unifying theme or design, and then get them covered at a. I mean, he tried epoxy, but it was too bubbly.
Yeah.
So he liked the spray that they use for car paint jobs.
Yep.
And then we would mount it on a frame, this big heavy metal piece. But what I loved about his work was that because of the nature of the steel being burnished like that, you were always engaging with the painting in regards to where you were standing in front of the piece, responding to the light being captured in the metal through whichever the pigment is. So he's still working in Arizona, in Tucson. He does some really incredible work. And then there was Hurricane Katrina, and I came here to Austin. We opened up Cold Town Theater.
So were
I had
you
an apartment for myself, and I had a one-bedroom apartment with my dog, basically.
Were you like relocated? Was it suggested you come here, or did you just
the Cold Town troupe wanted to meet here, and I had evacuated to my parents in Shreveport.
Sure.
And just watching all this terrible stuff, I wanted to return to the people who were always making jokes.
Wait, what?
I wanted to return to people who were always making jokes.
In Austin, or
Well, Cold Town.
Cold Town. Okay. And you knew these people
someone suggested that we just all meet up in Austin, so we came here
and open a theater.
That came later, but yeah.
Okay.
But I had an apartment set up, and I had multiple paintings going on at the same time.
Did they give you money? Like, I think some people got help moving. Were you one of those people that?
We got, I think, 3 checks from FEMA for. There was like an initial Louisiana resident distribution.
Yeah.
It was a couple of $1,000, and it helped me stay alive.
Sure.
For a while, because my Arian's entire studio got the roof blew off.
Sure.
And filled with horribleness. That's right.
Fuck, man. So that's really heavy and depressing and sad. That whole fucking thing.
One of the first things that I saw when I came to Austin, though, was the East Austin studio tour. And so when we were looking for a space to sign a lease on, because we were previously just in apartments, and we said, let's go in on a house to rent. So it became very important that it be on the east side so that I could participate in the East Austin studio tour.
Really?
Yeah.
Good call, I guess.
And so we found a place with a big old garage, and I said, this is my room. And so I took the walls and built some more easels, and I just had a bunch of paintings going on, and then the next year got into the tour, was on the tour, and that was fun. That was fun. I didn't do it this last year. They raised the prices. And
yeah, they did.
I was too far off the beaten path to. No one really came to my place, and if they came, there wasn't really much. It's hard to this.
It's easy to skip. Yeah, it's easy to skip a year. Painting, it'll always be there. So, but yeah, the East Austin studio was a big deal. I think that was pretty early, and it hasn't been around forever.
So yeah, the first year I saw it was 2005. And I don't know if my first year was 2006. I feel like it may have been 7, but I did it for several years.
Have you shown in Austin at all? Any art?
I have some paintings up at Max Taekwondo and Yoga.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Shit. All right.
They've got these nice
In
big
North Austin?
walls. Yeah. And,
Your stuff is up there right now?
It's up there right now, and I think the owner may just want to buy them.
Yeah, he should buy them.
He should buy. He likes them. He
Good.
likes them. So
Yeah, you're like my fourth favorite painter in Austin right now.
all right.
And that just happened like a week ago when I was at your place. I had not seen all your paintings. I had been in your studio, but not in your house. So I think I had seen your unfinished work, but I looked at some of your finished work, and like I said, those are fucking top-notch paintings.
Thank you.
And I was actually.
I haven't been very good at running a website that can catalog what pieces sell, because
Sure.
I've had my sales going through Etsy for a while now.
Yeah.
But Etsy doesn't maintain a record image of things that have sold.
You're supposed to do that, I guess,
Yeah.
or something. Do you have a price list or a buyer
I have an
list?
Etsy store. Yeah.
But I mean, I think artists are supposed to have like a list of past buyers or something.
Yeah.
All the people that have bought art from you.
You know, I've tried to keep track, and a lot of my paintings, I'd say most of my paintings, have been purchased by friends and not walk-up strangers. So I'm pretty sure I could track down most of them if pressed, but I don't really have it.
There's no reason to.
Yeah.
But galleries, some galleries will want to.
Drew Barrymore does not own an Arthur Simone.
Drew Barrymore doesn't?
No. Does
Shit.
not.
She might want one.
She
Do you
might.
remember the Playboy she was in?
No.
You didn't see it was from 99 or something. Oh my god, don't look it up because you'll start
No,
She has
I'm going to look up George Morrison again.
She has a shaved. I may have to take your phone away because you're not supposed to.
I know, but I want to show you. I'm not looking up
Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore.
Playboy. She has a butterfly tattoo above her lady parts, and it's shaved, and it's probably the most amazing. She likes art. She's an artist. Comes from a family artist.
Look at this. Look at this, though.
Yeah. He's George Morrison. Yeah, awesome.
He's amazing.
That's badass. Yeah. And so, were you doing movies when you in like Austin? Were you, because you've got an IMDb page? You're like a real fucking actor and shit.
You know, it was funny. I went up to Chicago to get into acting, to make a living acting, and I got a couple of small roles in small things, but no SAG things. I didn't get a SAG movie role until I moved back to New Orleans, and I was cast in Big Mama's House 2.
You were.
And I had a line. It got cut.
Uh-huh.
I don't think Martin Lawrence liked me very much.
Oh shit.
It's okay.
He's kind of a prick. I've heard. Like he's very opinionated and doesn't like a lot of people. And
Well, I barely like me.
come on, you've got to like yourself
I
enough
do.
to get on stage and make paintings. And
Yeah.
and you're attractive. You're young. You're getting
Yeah.
married. You have everything going for you, except you live in Texas now, and I don't know what to say about that. What do you think of Austin? Because it's got to be sad coming from a place like New Orleans, like we were saying, culturally rich, extremely diverse, awesome international art scene.
Yeah.
You're not going to Houston. You're not going to Dallas. You're coming to Austin, which is like, I mean, I've been here for decades, and it's got to be a step down, right? I mean, it's got to hurt a little bit.
It's had its moments, and I've made a good. There's been a good amount of my artistic and creative energy that has definitely found its voice here in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm grateful for it.
It wasn't here before. Like Austin before Katrina, I can tell you, was an extremely different place. A lot of talented people came here, and Coal Town is like, there was nothing like that before.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything like that since, really. There are good theaters, for sure, but Coal Town has a specific vibe that's very, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. They're Really,
That's good.
really smart, really funny kids that are learning improv at a much earlier age than I did. And part of me is wicked jealous of them. Part of me is wicked proud of them.
Yeah.
I didn't get into improv until my last year in Chicago, when my agent told me to take a improv class, and I did at Improv Olympic.
Huh.
And so that's where my improv training comes in.
Okay.
I love Louisiana.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as you think Texas is a mess, Louisiana is
worse.
worse.
Yeah.
And that's really pitiful.
And especially New Orleans. Especially New Orleans, which is not even going to look the same ever again.
The state has become decidedly more racist under Obama. It has become, this Duck Dynasty phenomenon is just way over my head. I feel like Louisiana is the butt of the world's joke.
Yeah.
But my parents are back in Shreveport, and I do like having them close.
Uh-huh.
I don't think I'll ever take I-35 to Dallas again, if I can help it.
Wait.
But I'll probably still want to go through, like, take 79 through like Palestine.
What's wrong with 35 to Dallas?
It's a miserable experience, or I should say, from Waco to Hillsboro.
Okay. East.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
East,
just a nightmare.
East Texas.
There are
is-
these big concrete columns that are just. I'm surprised that it's just not constant carnage there. I'm surprised that there aren't more potholes that are just filled with the mushed remains of unfortunate I-35 drivers.
all right.
It's terrifying.
Okay.
Going to San Antonio is pretty nice.
I like San Antonio.
Going to Houston can be pretty nice.
Yeah.
I don't think I could ever live in Houston.
Yeah, it's
if
not-
you're an artist trying to make a living in New Orleans, you're going to be selling a lot of fleur-de-lis, and you're going to be selling a lot of, alligators and trumpets, and I mean that's
Black and gold shirts or whatever.
But there are people that make a living doing that.
Uh-huh.
And
But it's a tourist economy.
I think Austin's part tourist economy,
Sure.
but it's also part.
It's not as international. Like Cold Town isn't really. Is it getting like
An
I don't know.
international buzz.
I don't know who goes to Cold Town. Do tourists go to Cold Town?
Well, you have to make an effort to get there. You don't. It's
guess
not
so.
walking distance to.
Sixth
It's not
Street.
pedicab distance. It's not walking distance. You gotta
6th Street.
have a car or rent a car or rent a cab. Maybe you can take the bus, but
No one's gonna do that.
yeah. So we get. We get our fair share of people who are being dropped off in cabs, and I think now that there are more restaurants on that little stretch of airport, that's becoming more the case.
Yeah.
But we found a little niche. I do want to get back into painting, though. I spent a lot of
Yeah.
my time doing administration work, and
For Cold Town.
yeah, I mean, I've basically earned kind of a little business degree in just keeping the place open for so long.
Good. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
didn't really move here to pursue a business degree.
Sure.
I mean, I like being my own boss, but I would like to. I don't know if I could ever rent a studio.
Really? Yeah. Why? If you live in a house, just paint in your house.
Just paint in your house. But here's the thing: is if you have it in your house, it's always all the unfinished work is hanging there, and it's just mocking you.
It is mocking you. Yeah, it is. That's good though, right? I mean, you need to work your shit out and fix it.
Yeah, but
Fix those
not
paintings.
24 hours a day.
Yeah, I mean,
If I'm home for the whole Saturday, that's a whole Saturday with this painting just shoving its middle finger.
that breaks into your football watching.
It might. It could.
Is that good being in Texas where there's like a football?
I love the NFL.
Why is there a
I
football?
love Saints football.
Really?
And that's usually Sunday.
It's so odd to me that there's a fan base for the Saints. People that go crazy for that shit.
Well, I grew up in Shreveport up until I was 11, and that was a Dallas market. So we were always bombarded with Cowboys commercials and games.
I see. I
But
never knew
now
that.
in the Drew Brees era, and hopefully this year when we win our second Super Bowl, and then next year when we win our third Super Bowl and go undefeated, it'll all be worth it. And all of Louisiana will celebrate, as well as quite a few Louisiana transplants who live here in Austin.
Sure.
People who live in... I mean, if you're in Louisiana and you want to move, but you don't want to move too far away, where the fuck are you going to go? Are you going to go to Mississippi?
Right.
Are you going to go to Arkansas? Maybe Arkansas.
Arkansas.
I don't know. Too many ticks.
Yeah. Well,
Or you move to Texas. Okay, here I am in Texas. What the fuck am I doing here?
Yeah.
I better go somewhere safe.
It is safe here. And it's, well, I mean, it'd be interesting to talk about that because, I mean, New Orleans is certainly a fucking totally different place. Austin is becoming this, I don't know what it's going to become in like 4 or 5 years, but right now it kind of sucks. There's a lot of people moving here. The rents are going up. Artists are starting to move away because of that in big numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're either going to have to stay here and deal with it, or, I don't know, yeah. I'm not bummed about it because I like change. Even New Orleans, like I don't want the change to be horrible, but it just happens to cities, and it happens to cultures, and you can't maintain them forever.
New Orleans is definitely a different world. I've always said that it's the place that I want to go when I want to commit suicide.
Yeah. It's dying. Like the whole, I mean, jazz is dying. Like the whole...
But it's also vibrant and it's living. But
Sure.
sometimes you have to take it out of New Orleans to keep it alive.
Absolutely.
And so I hope that it doesn't go under.
Right. But if it does, it gets replaced, and younger people just decide. They get to decide, this shit isn't for us anymore. I mean, the history should be preserved, but...
Well, it's not going to be in Baton Rouge. Maybe not Lafayette. I like Shreveport, though.
Okay. I love Louisiana. I love it. But I hate East Texas. And the racism is insane.
It's really bad.
It's the worst in the country.
The closer you get to Dallas, the worse it is. You
I
think
guess
so?
Well, I think the more you get into Louisiana, going east, I don't know, Dallas doesn't seem as horrible as like the weird forests of...
I think of Louisiana as just generations and generations of institutionalized racism that have just had a profound cost on everyone. And I think of Texas as like an actively just... There's institutional racism, but there's also just fuck you, Texas racism. Yeah. There's also just
no reason.
Why am I not allowed to shoot the person that I want to shoot?
Why can't I go into church with this handgun?
Yep.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's a mess. I hate that shit. I hate that part of Texas.
Have you ever seen someone with an open carry rifle?
In a church?
Or just anywhere?
Not a rifle, but plenty of handguns. There's got to be a thing about the rifles. It's got to be on the back or something. I mean, you can't... I don't know how you do that with a rifle.
Were you working in that, the building that the guy flew his plane into?
No, I work at the IRS. No, there's a difference.
Because I thought that it was the IRS that was, in that building.
They rent like 20 buildings in Austin.
Okay.
Yeah, and that guy had a manifesto that went up.
Yeah,
and it got taken down within 2 hours.
Nobody in Louisiana writes a manifesto before they go do something fucked up.
That's true. This guy was getting screwed hard by the IRS. He was like an engineer, a computer designer or something, and for like 12 years they had been fucking him over.
Yeah.
He's a good musician. He's a bass player. He's a pretty bright dude.
Mike Huckabee is a bass player.
Who's that? Oh, yeah. Holy shit.
He's running for president.
Is he?
Yep. Yeah.
All right.
Former governor of Arkansas and future president of the United States.
Who can they run? No. Who can they run though? They have nobody. They've got to pull out the Huckabee.
The primary is going to be a disaster.
Yes.
How can it not be? Look at these clowns.
I know. It's Hillary.
They're terrifying clowns.
It's Hillary, 100%.
I'd like to see. I like seeing Bernie Sanders in the race.
Yeah.
To help remind her what
Could be.
people
What
stand
should be.
for.
He's not gonna win. Shit.
He's not. I don't think he could. No, he's not.
He's not gonna win. I think it's Hillary, dude. I'm going with Hillary. Or some other.
Jesus Christ, it's going to be better than
Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz, Rand Paul. My God, Chris Christie.
Yeah.
Who else is in the race now? Ben Carson, Mike Huckabee. I don't know if Rick Perry's announced yet, but
There's no way. He's going to jail.
they're all going to jail. We're all going to jail.
No. Rick Perry is doing time for some crazy shit he did. 10 years or something he's supposed to get.
He's not going to see a day of time.
You're probably right.
Are we still going?
I want to talk about your
We talked about me, but not,
paintings. Because they look really good. You're an abstract painter.
yeah.
So they're just non-objective, your art?
I used to work from a sketch, and the sketch usually featured some face that I saw in a dream.
Uh-huh.
But once I started just working on multiple paintings at multiple times, the sketch pad went away, and it usually just became about what materials I have, what I'm feeling like. Most of my paint I've purchased off of Craigslist in chunks or in the discount bin.
Okay.
So
But oil paints.
but oil paints.
All right.
I haven't really sat down and begun a painting and finished it in quite a while.
But the Etsy shop is where you.
But my Etsy shop is where I have.
And that's online where you'd see your stuff pretty much.
You can go to arthursimone.com and it will redirect you to my Etsy page.
Okay.
And there are like I don't know, maybe like 8 paintings that are up right now. I do have paintings that are close to being done but aren't done.
Uh-huh.
I do have paintings in my house that are mine. There's some paintings that I've done over the years that it's maybe like 3 that I want to keep.
Really? Yeah.
The rest are for sale.
Okay. 3 that you want to keep.
Yeah.
That's about right. I probably got about 100, and there's probably about 2 of them. But I sell my shit for really cheap.
Yeah. Well, as soon as I put a painting up online, if I regret it, then I'll just take it down.
Sure.
I've put up stuff online that 2 days later I decide, that's not done. I can't sell that. That's not done, so I take it down. And then, one of these pieces I panicked in the middle of the night, and I realized that I love this painting, so I had to run and deactivate it and keep it forever.
Shit.
But like I said, Etsy doesn't keep a good record of your old images.
Yeah.
So at some point I need to redo a website where I can upload all of my stuff, because I've probably done it's probably over 100 paintings
Okay.
in my lifetime.
And what kind of, how would you...
I'd say all but 2 of them are oil. Those other 2 were acrylic. I just don't like acrylic. It's just too
It's shitty. It's cheap. It doesn't have the color, for sure.
well, yeah, it doesn't. It just doesn't carry a huge pigment load in the way that oil does. I mean, you have some colors that are pretty good. That yellow right there has a nice thick.
But they're never gonna have the luminosity of oil paint,
Yeah,
no matter what.
and yes.
I'm more about structure, speed, high volume, low cost. Not even really.
You also don't have years to agonize yourself
I guess so,
by
yeah.
looking at it. Well,
Yeah, get rid of them. Take them to Goodwill. Take a box knife. Mondrian used to shoot at his paintings with a pistol.
I've always wanted. I don't think I've ever shot at a painting, but I've certainly stabbed them.
Yeah. You seem angry a little bit. Is that
Like pretty angry.
It's weird. Like, what? How would? Why would? It seems odd to me that you'd be.
That I'd be so angry.
Yeah. I guess everyone has anger, but like in your painting too, it's not very aggressive, but there's a little bit of that in there that.
Yeah.
I have that too, but I'm trying to work like I guess I'm trying to get more into focusing on composing, but it's fun. I mean, and I guess acting too, theater, you're gonna emote and you're gonna have to
Yeah.
entertain. It's so weird. I could never do those. I could never act or be in a movie. I was in Friday Night Lights.
Where?
I was
When?
an extra.
In what season? Do you remember?
I think it was early, second or third season. And then I was supposed to be a German tourist because I spoke German. But God, the acting scene in Austin. You've got to be doing like more movies, right? Do you have anything coming up?
I was in a short film called Star Cadets that was in South by this year,
Okay.
and it's going to do the festival circuit. We'll see what happens. Other than that, I don't know much. I've had some auditions in the last couple of weeks, so I mean, things are happening.
Uh-huh.
And you just got to put up with a whole bunch of. It's tough to go into an audition and never get any real feedback on how you did or how close you were to getting the job, and then you just have to suck it up and go into the next one, and then you have to go into the next one. That gets pretty exhausting after a while, but
That's all acting is, though, right? It's just auditions
yeah.
and hoping some good shit happens. What's up with Cold Town like this year?
I'd like to move us to a space where we can operate a bar. Right now we're BYOB and beer by like donation, but it's not. It's not the place that it was when the Valero was next door. Where
Oh,
you
yeah.
you could just run next door and grab a 6-pack of whatever and come back.
It's not there anymore, the Valero?
No, they're building it into a tapas restaurant called Bullfight.
Awesome. Great.
Yeah, I'd like to stay in that space, but at the same time, we have a very limited economic footprint, and we need to keep growing and expanding.
Is that getting harder with the growth of Austin?
It's terrible.
Is it?
It's terrible.
What are your plans for, like, you're just going to stay here, you're just going to keep slinging it out? You and your wife getting a house? Or?
Probably not. I think that I would want to eventually go back to Louisiana.
Yeah.
I want to put in more. I want to put in a couple more years' work for Cold Town and get it in a place where it can sustain itself. But I don't think Austin is going to be a long term. I could see myself turning 40 here.
Sure.
I don't know if I would see myself turning 50 here.
That's about right. Yeah, Austin has always been a city, a college town where people come, they get their shit together, and realize that it's not, if you're going to step up your career or if you're going to live your life, you're going to retire, it's a really bad place to do that.
Well, if you want to be an actor, you go to LA or New York, and
Or even a comedian or an artist or even a musician. Like, it's not a good place to have, unless you get lucky. It's a really tough place to have a career. It's good to be a hobbyist and live in Austin, but God, remember Seth Cockfield?
Mm-hmm.
God, he's one of my favorite fucking comedians in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I was following his career when I'm a big fan of comedians here, and so the Cold Town thing's cool. But he's in New York now, and
Yeah.
and a lot of actors too. They come here, and it's just a place for them to write and get their shit together. And
But also to be inspired and to see stuff and get stage time and
yeah, and then split. Yeah, so that's kind of sad. I'm hoping that part of Austin changes and it becomes a better place to be an artist. Like, if there's more money here, maybe it'll sell some paintings. I don't know, but that's cool. And I know a lot of people from Louisiana that can't. They go to New York or whatever. They can't do it. They just they stick it out for a decade, but they're like, you know what? That place has always been my heart, and
Yeah.
I just never adjust really.
I did my time
Yeah.
in the North. I
Uh-huh.
lived in Chicago for 4 years. Never again. Never again will I go through a winter that cold.
Yeah, it's just cold. It's just cold. It's just weather. Why
It's
is
just
that
weather, but
why is it a deal breaker?
it's a deal breaker for a southern boy like me.
I guess so.
But my folks are getting up there in age, and I want to live close to them. My aunt lives in Houston.
and you're gonna have kids.
Maybe.
I had a vasectomy a long time ago. It was the best, but the best thing I ever did. But that's awesome. How'd you meet your wife?
At an improv festival in Minneapolis.
Was she performing?
She was not. She's not a performer. She's
Yes!
she's just a fan.
Can we just high five real quick on not being married to fellow, like artists?
Yeah, I've dated so many actors and artists over the years that
Oh my god.
it's just guaranteed misery. It's guaranteed misery because people are gonna heighten and prod and swell the drama.
Manipulate. Possibly. Cool. Have you been
A lot of
married?
peop- No, I've never been married.
Good. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Well, a good actor is a good liar,
I guess so.
and a good artist is kind of a danger to himself and society.
A good painter. Painters just make decorative images for people's homes, though. I mean, you're manipulating space, but you're not really
Changing the world.
toying with people's emotions. I definitely don't
I
think.
love toying with people's emotions.
But I think painters don't do that. I think they just sort of make pretty things and people.
my paintings are definitely designed to mess with people.
Really?
Yeah, I don't want to ever work representationally and say this is what this is.
Uh huh.
People are always going to have to figure out for themselves what they see, and so I try to create a little tickle of what they think it is
Mm-hmm.
to get their brain churning and trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are going to see a lot of different things, and I think that's great.
Okay. Cool. I'm sort of like just wanting to sell them and make enough money to make more of them and not work and not do anything else.
You are inviting the viewer to come in and look by following the direction of where your brushstroke was.
Uh-huh.
So you got to have entry points for them to join you,
Into
and
the painting.
and then places where you can disengage from them entirely and have them claw their way back up to understanding it.
What are they understanding, though?
That life is miserable and they should probably die.
That's 50% of it, but then the other part is that, life is also...
Life is beautiful and bursting with life and color and
But art isn't...
wonder.
Yeah, art, well, no one really knows what any of that shit's about, or what it means, or what it does to other people. But I like music and acting, things that are specific, but I don't know why painting is... I don't know why painting is so weird and hard to understand.
Do you know what the blue bowerbird is? It's a little bird, lives in maybe Indonesia, and it'll build a nest for itself, the male,
Mm-hmm.
and it will fill it with colorful things.
Yeah.
Little red pebbles and little blue berries and yellow seeds and a smattering of white fluff.
Mm.
And the dude bird with the fanciest house gets the girl.
Really?
Yeah. So there's a certain amount of collecting of a feeling
Uh-huh.
that you can see in a little bitty bird.
In order
that-
to mate.
In order to mate, but also, I mean, that's the way that it expresses itself.
Yeah.
It probably doesn't know that it's trying to mate. All it knows is that it likes the shape of that thing, and it's gonna get that thing and bring it home and be proud of how red it is.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Interesting. No, I've never heard of that. That sounds like the only animal. I mean, badgers build bridges and shit, but
Yeah.
most animals don't construct or do stuff like
Well,
that.
birds have a lot of time on their hands, so they they also have big
Like artists.
foofy feathers.
Yeah. Huh. It's
A
interesting.
lot of music.
Yeah, they're fucking singing all the time. I don't know why. That's annoying. So, dude, painting. Who are some of your influences?
Hasselschmidt, Jackson Pollock, Picasso. I love love Marcel Duchamp.
Uh huh.
I
Like his toilets.
you know, when he went off into toilet world, I definitely appreciate that.
Yeah.
But his nude descending a staircase, that's some epic shit.
Cubism, sort of, right?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, post Cubism. Umberto Bocciani,
Okay.
futurist artist,
Okay. I think I've heard that.
did some paintings, but also did some sculpture. I like Andy Goldsworthy.
Really?
Yeah, I love Andy Goldsworthy.
Sticks,
Sticks.
water.
Sticks and water and
Rocks.
ice and rocks and pigment. It's great.
How do you sell that? How do you market that?
Well, he's a photographer,
Ah,
so he knows how to capture his work
yeah.
before anything.
Fucking A. Smart dude.
You have to learn something about photography if you want to sell your artwork.
That's true.
I take pictures a lot under hazy, cloudy sunlight,
Uh huh.
just because it's nice and even and it's not
Diffused
too
light.
not too diffused. And you gotta crop it and transform it sometimes, skew it sometimes.
Yeah. Gotta lie about the colors.
You gotta punch colors up.
Punch
in
it up.
the filter. Otherwise, it's not going to convey. I mean,
Make it funny.
huh?
Punch up.
Punch up.
Always say yes. What are the rules in improv?
Yes, and
Yes, and. Thank you.
the and is to add in something. Why do you have a
go
Louisville
with-
Slugger?
Because
Baseball bat
we're in my
right here.
tiny art studio shed, and if someone breaks in, I have a thing to beat them with. It's not a gun. I used to have a bunch of guns. When my dad died, I
These scissors.
beat him with scissors,
No,
tin
you-
snips.
You stab them.
Stab him with tin. But if you have a bat, you don't have something in your home
You have
to
a,
protect your wife
You have
if someone breaks in.
You have
A bow and arrow.
Well, we have dogs.
I have a little dog, but
You have a little dog.
yeah, that's tiny. You've got big dogs.
We've got at least one lab, and she's
Yeah.
super sweet. But
What's
she,
your plan
she can make
B?
a big, deep bark. And I have a club.
They get
Okay,
shot.
I
You
have
do
a
have
club.
I gotta have a glove. Are you talking about my fire extinguisher?
That's a good way to get rid of a villain.
Is it? You
Yeah.
just spray them? Well, that's a good way to put out a fire.
There's a fire burning in every villain's heart.
You put it out with a fire
Put it out with
extinguisher.
fire.
I have a fire alarm too, a smoke detector. I'm very up to code on my accessory structures.
Yeah, looks like that.
And so, what kind of style would you say you paint in?
Abstract expressionism.
You're an abstract expressionist. What does that mean in fucking 2015?
Unemployed.
That's awesome.
A lot of abstract expressionists boomed commercially and
Right.
financially because of the CIA
What?
during the Cold War. You don't know this?
I don't. Go ahead with your story, and we'll
They
see.
CIA agents
Uh-huh.
got insies with the professional art world.
Okay.
With like the multi-million-dollar buyers and convinced a bunch of them to go with the most big radical art out there,
Uh-huh.
which would intimidate the Soviets.
Sure. Promote American culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I'm with you. Is that bad? That's what That's what I want to pay taxes for. That's where my tax dollars
but
should
the age of Jackson Pollock selling paintings for $1 million
go. It's over.
each. That's probably over.
And it's also because painting is not that relevant. I mean, there aren't painters doing really interesting things that are permeating the culture in a way that other, say, hip-hop or something. These cultures are more relevant, and painting, it's not that exciting. I mean, I get excited by it, but I can see why people aren't that interested in it. The timing is bad, too. And it's such an old fucking way to do stuff whenever everything's done with computers, so...
That definitely hurt my mother's business, doing calligraphy, the age of desktop publishing.
Steve Jobs, he was pretty much a calligrapher. That's his whole thing. That started it all. It started Apple. Design and...
Richard Dievenkorn.
Oh.
He's very good. He's very interesting.
You like these West Coast dudes. What's up with that?
I don't know.
They're off the beaten path a little bit.
Well, they also,
Off the New York.
in order to get there, had to fly. And if they're flying, they're looking down at the countryside, and there's a lot of landscape expansiveness
Geography.
that you see in their work.
I've never thought of that.
Sierra Nevadas,
Yeah.
yeah.
The country. The
fault,
fucking country.
fault lines,
Not just a big,
deserts.
Not just a big New York City.
Yeah.
Huh. Cool. So when are you getting married?
October.
It's not a deposition. I swear. I'm sorry. I suck.
October 3rd at noon.
Cool.
Wish me luck.
You'll be fine.
I'll be
Marriage is just another painting you get through, and then
fine. Huh.
you finish it. And
There's some paintings I've never gotten through, so it's good to hear.
It's 50-50 whether or not, That's how marriage is. But it's fine. You'll work it out. Dude, is there anything else you want to add? I'm sorry I don't have
No,
my shit
I
together.
don't think so. Why'd you bring this up?
A thing of paint.
Yeah.
I need it in here because I paint with that paint. It's
Yeah.
cheap paint.
Yeah.
It's so cheap. I use the cheapest shit.
It's a good place to visit, the
Home Depot.
Home Depot mistake rack.
A lot of oops paint.
Yeah.
Cheap. I don't know, dude. Is there anything you want to add? You want to say thank you, Cold Town? Thank you to anybody?
Thank you, Cold Town. Thank you, Carl Smith Artist.
Fresh Goose Arts Podcast. I know you guys don't know who Arthur Simone is as a painter. Maybe you do, but you probably know him as an actor. But you should look at his paintings.
ArthurSimone.com.
With the E.
Yep.
Arthursimone.
ArthurSimone.
Remember that Arthur movie from the 80s?
I do too.
If you get caught between the moon and New York City.
Yep.
I know it. Christopher Cross?
No.
Crisscross?
No.
Jump.
Yes.
Jump. I hope you make it back to Louisiana. Thank you for coming to Austin. Thank you for running Cold Town. Thank you for being an artist here. Thank you for talking to me, and I'm sorry I didn't have better questions. But
Are you going to do East this year?
am I going to? Probably. It depends on if I have the money. They were rejecting people last year.
They
They kicked
expanded.
people. That was the first year where they kicked people out.
Maybe that's a good start.
Where they said, we can't let you in because we've got
There's
400
too many,
fucking
yeah,
artists.
There's too many.
Yeah, it's too many artists. But I would say, God, I'm going to get in trouble for this, but I feel like 15% of the art in there is good. There's a lot of hobbyists here. There's a lot of people that aren't that really serious about painting, and that's fine.
Not a lot of painters, really.
Not a lot of painters. It's not a good painting town, really. Do you know any painters here
I know you.
that are successful and rich and attractive?
Is Mike Schliefke?
Schlefke?
Schlefke? Yeah. Is he still working?
I don't know if he's still here. My money says he's gone, but he does a lot of comics, right?
Yeah.
He's really good. Yeah, I don't know a lot of painters here. It's
And yet, I'm your fourth favorite. I love it.
yeah, there are a lot of painters. Yeah, who are the? I don't even know who the three are. I just arbitrarily picked a number. You might actually be two. I know
All
there's
right.
Philip Trussell, who's my favorite.
Okay, yes, I like him.
You know him?
Huh?
Oh, really?
I don't know him, but I know his work.
You've seen his
I've
stuff?
seen his stuff, yeah.
Fuck.
It's good.
He's really good. He's my favorite. And, I don't know, Chris Chappelle is good. He does little drippy landscapes that are Pretty good. None of them listen to this podcast. None of them want to be on this podcast. So I'm glad that you showed up. So thank you.
Look up George Morrison and Mary Sorrows Hughes.
And thank you for coming.
All right.
Another high five. Arthur Simone. I apologize for being a dumbass, but thank you. Canvasland.net. Fleshlight hasn't sponsored this yet, but they will. Tito's Vodka, I want them to sponsor this, but they probably won't. Good luck with your marriage.
Thank you.
And we're out. Hemp canvas is back and is sure to become the standard it once was again. Stronger and easier to grow than cotton and less expensive than flax linen, hemp is poised to regain favor as a painting substrate fabric. Once you try it, you'll never go back. And don't break federal laws, people, even if it's legal in your state. Canvasland.net makes 100% hemp canvas. They are located in South Austin, 78704. I've been painting on them. I use the 11-ounce primed, but these are finest made artist canvases. Made in Texas, made in Austin, handmade with pride, and I want you to check them out, canvasland.net. These are high-quality canvases, and they're not cheap. They're not super cheap, but they're worth it. I can attest to that fact. I've been using them. I love them. They're awesome. Like I said, the 11 ounce is great. They hold really well. They stretch well, and they don't really sag over time. So Chuck Volter, he's an amazing businessman, amazing painter, dedicated to Texas, dedicated to helping art and artists. Take that sentence back. Anyway, canvasland.net. Check it out, y'all. Enjoy the podcast. Fresh Goose, Austin. All right, taping a quick outro. Arthur Simone, he is a badass painter. Take my word for it. Abstract expressionism, and is a good actor. And I want to thank y'all for listening. And I will see you all at the next podcast. I'm not sure who's next, but hopefully I won't be a fuck up. So talk to y'all later. Bye.